Robert's on woke. TV's Robert's on woke. He's on woke.
Welcome to it. This is TV's Robert's on woke. I am your not so humble, actually just not humble host, TV's Rob. And there is so much going on. I know I say that every week, every episode. But really, when you break it all down, there really is just so much going on. And I'm going to try to get to as much of it as possible. But here's a look at what you can expect from this episode. The 2020 and 2021 Olympics are over and done with. Thank God. But hey, how about those Americans coming back and winning the overall medal count and taking first place with all the gold? That's right. Finally, the U.S. teams managed to come back and take the top spot away from China. And Andrew Cuomo, that crafty governor of New York, who's a total piece of ish and an absolute dirtbag. And of course, as you all know, we have the report to prove it. And now, what is coming up next for the grabber of asses of New York? I've got a special treat for all of you this week. Oh, that's right. My wife, Nikki, finally joins the show to talk about some hard news items that she has opinions on. For those of you who don't know, my wife is a news anchor for a national news network and some local stations around the country. So she is flooded and inundated with news all day long, every day. And she has to report what's written or what she writes. And of course, with news, you have to, well, in theory, you have to be fair and balanced. You at least have to present a balanced story account, right? I know that the news doesn't always do that, but she really does do a good job of it. But that doesn't mean that she doesn't have opinions. And she's going to share some of them later on in the episode. And Howard Stern, the alleged king of all media, has SiriusXM subscribers pissed off, and their rage continues to grow, and I'll tell you why. But before I get into all of that and you hear from my lovely wife, Nikki, I got to talk a little bit about AOC. Oh, God, is she agonizing, isn't she? She is just absolutely the worst. And the main reason that I think that she's the worst is that she's young and ambitious, which is great, and she's passionate. That's what you want out of a politician, right? Unfortunately, she's a complete idiot who wants the socialism. What in the world is wrong with her? Oh. But over this past weekend, we learned some new interesting tidbits about AOC and her boyfriend. Oh, yes. Now, I don't know if he knows what a garbage disposal is or if he taught her what a garbage disposal is. I'm going to guess probably no on both accounts. But apparently, they say that the couple who TikTok together stay together. The couple who TikToks together stays together. I don't even know what that means. And in fact, when reading the headline, I'm thinking, what is this? How dumb is this? I don't understand it. Well, I had to read the story. I had to dig in. And thanks to the New York Post for killing 3 minutes of my life that I'm never going to get back. But then also, thank you, New York Post, for providing me with content to kill time of my listeners' lives that they'll never get back. Look, if I'm in it, you're in it with me. That's all there is to it. Once you're in it, you're in it. Facts are facts. So AOC took a moment out of her busy schedule to offer some relationship advice to her 8.7 million Instagram followers and offered that the popular social network helped keep her relationship strong. Now, how? I'll get to that, but first, 8.7 million followers on Instagram. It's agonizing. So agonizing. And then her giving relationship advice as if she would be the expert. We're talking about the woman who watered down drinks and probably mixed the wrong concoction on more than one occasion every night when bartending, okay? Can you really trust her with relationship advice? Yet people do. I don't understand it. I think these people need to be tested. But in an Instagram story Friday evening, the Queen's Congresswoman was asked by a fan, what's the key to a healthy relationship with your significant other when you're always in the public eye? AOC punted the question to Riley Roberts, sitting just off camera. So he gets roped into this? Gotta feel bad for this guy, but at the same time, he made his choice. Make your bed, you lie in it. He said, we spend mornings together, spend quality time together, browse TikTok together. Cooing an affectionate vocal affection as they both laughed. Now, you may remember this soy boy beta male. He frequently appears as a background character in her Instagram stories. And remember, in 2020, back in February, he made a cameo where he participated in a discussion about combating racism as a white person. Yeah, combating racism as a white person. That's really easy. Don't be a racist. And of course, the overwhelming majority of Americans are not racist.
Like, whatever.
But this soy boy beta male has to say, oh, we need to combat racism as a white person. You know, either he's just going along with her crazy ass or he really believes this stuff. And if he's just going along with it, I want to know why. Is she that good in bed? Or is she just that crazy where he fears for his life if he were to ever leave her? I'm going to guess the latter between you and me. But hey, if you think otherwise, hit me up on Twitter at TV's Rob Official. Let's talk about it, because you never know. And since we're talking about AOC and her boyfriend, I got to share this with you. This is something I put together working on another national radio show.
Have you ever wondered what it would sound like if AOC and Alex Jones hooked up and had some pillow talk?
When I go down, squeezing that enormous hard thing, it gives me no pleasure.
I will eat your ass.
And I do little to nothing.
I will eat your ass first.
Elsewhere on the gram, AOC fielded questions about the coronavirus vaccines and revealed that she might write a book sometime. Is she going to write it in crayon? Will there be a coloring section, a pop-up section? Will there be activities and games? Will it be like Mad Libs where you can fill in your own AOC adventure? Because I don't think she has the prowess, the intellect, or the vocabulary to write an actual book, an actual novel. And if she did, would she write fiction? Would she write nonfiction? Well, even her nonfiction would actually be fiction, because God knows she would just build herself up to be the greatest thing since sliced bread, which we all know that's not true. She also revealed that if she wasn't a politician, she would have liked to become a writer or an OBGYN. Now, ladies, I have to ask you, would you trust crazy-eyed AOC to poke around your hoo-ha, to poke around your vajayjay, to poke around your vagina? I don't have a vagina, and I wouldn't want her poking around it. I wouldn't want her dealing with anything involving that region of the body, not to mention handling the whole childbirth thing. She would probably be the doctor who looks at you and says, you know what? I think you should get an abortion. Yeah, you should just get an abortion, because think about the environment. Think about climate change. She'd probably do great for Planned Parenthood. But as far as an OBGYN, ladies, let me know. Would you really want her poking around in there? Because I honestly doubt it. And one more thing on AOC. Can you believe that she's actually thinking about running a primary against Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer in 2022? Does she have a chance to win? Maybe, but God help us if she were to actually win. Why would you want to do that? Oh, that's right, because he's not progressive enough. And just like everybody else that gets into office, they're power hungry. And obviously she sees the Senate as a step up from the House. But God help us if that were to actually happen. Such a brilliant, triumphant theme by John Williams, the Olympic theme. Well, the 2020 and 2021 Olympic Games are over and done with, and the United States stands tall with the most medals and the most gold medals of all the countries participating in this year's games. And let me tell you, it didn't look like it was going to happen. It looked like China was going to beat us with gold this year, but nope. Finally, the U.S. team stood up and made it happen, and we stand tall and proud, unless you're an athlete, of course. Looking back at the 2020 Olympic Games, is there really anything that, as a country, we can really be proud of? From Simone Biles and her twisties, where she didn't compete until the final event, and even then only got bronze. Can we really hold our head high? Hey, she brought mental health to the forefront of athletics and athleticism. She's a hero. Is she? Do we celebrate what she did? I don't know. That is the one thing of the Olympic Games in terms of our athletes that I just cannot figure out. Part of me wants to ridicule her. Part of me wants to say, hey, you know what? I can understand. I can get it. Tyler Morgan and I talked about it. He understands where she's coming from. Now, of course, after she participated in the Olympics in that one event and came back home, that's when we started finding out more and more information, such as, hey, you know what? The Larry Nassar abuse that I talked about in the previous episode? Yeah, she says it probably affected me at the Olympics. Okay, I can understand that. That was a traumatic experience for you. And every time you're competing with the U.S. gymnastics team and organization, yeah, you're probably thinking about it. Okay, all right. But then she reveals that her aunt on her father's side of the family died during the games. Well, if that's the case, why didn't you just say so from the get-go? I don't think anybody would have questioned you if you had just said, I suffered a traumatic loss in my family just now, and my head's not in it. Nobody would fault you for that. But instead, you made it about other things. And you didn't tell us about this till afterwards. So, what's going on here? I think if she had been straight up and honest, I know I would have given her a pass. And I'm sure that everybody else would have too. If you've ever lost a family member, you know the pain, you know the agony, you know the anguish, you know the 5 stages of grief. You know that it's not something that you process quickly and just move on from. But instead, she didn't come out with that until afterwards. Instead, she was looking forward to getting home to Houston, seeing her boyfriend, who's an NFL player, and eating a hamburger, all while developing the twisties during the games. And of course, if I'm going to talk about Olympic lowlights, and I'm going to talk about things that were agonizing and just frustrating, during the course of the games, I have to talk about the U.S. women's soccer team. I know most of you are probably tired of hearing it, but I promise you, after this rant, you won't hear about them for at least 2 years when the World Cup happens, okay? I promise, okay? Now, what did the women's soccer team do? Oh, they got bronze. Yay! Should have been playing for gold. But instead, you fucked about. All right? That's what you did the entire time. And of course, the standout of the woke crowd, Megan Rapinoe, continued to make the Olympics and women's soccer in general all about her. Now, what happened after they won the bronze medal? Well, she gets into yet another spat with the former president of the United States, Donald Trump. During an interview with NBC, Rapinoe, who helped lead the team to a 4-3 win over Australia to win the bronze medal, was asked if she had seen Trump's statement castigating the team. The former president, in a statement issued by his Save America PAC, accused the soccer players of being woke and not focused on winning, saying, "Woke means you lose. Everything that is woke goes bad, and our soccer team certainly has. If our soccer team headed by a radical group of leftist maniacs wasn't woke, they would have won the gold medal instead of the bronze." Look, I mean, when you're right, you're right. And Donald Trump, he's certainly right. They were too focused on other things. I mean, look at their overall tournament performance. It was shite. Okay? And of course, Trump, you know he's going to dig. In his statement, he also took direct aim at Rapinoe, saying, "The woman with the purple hair played terribly and spends too much time thinking about radical left politics and not doing her job." Yeah. Can't say he's wrong. That's what it is. Now, of course, this goes back a while. In 2019, Rapinoe deemed herself a walking protest to Trump's agenda. And as the team was working toward its eventual World Cup win that year, she dismissed any sort of White House invite and said she was not going to the fucking White House to celebrate. While Rapinoe later apologized for her language, she didn't back down from the criticism. So what did Rapinoe have to say to the former president this time? Well, she called it a sad dig and accused the former president of saying, "You're rooting for people to do bad?" Now look, okay, just going to throw this out there. Megan, nobody is rooting for people to do bad as a whole. We want all of America's athletes to go to the Olympics and perform well. We want them all to win gold medals, or at least earn a medal, and show the world that we are elite in everything that we do. However, when athletes decide that rather than representing their country, they'd rather represent themselves and take a collective dump on the country that has given them so much. Think about that. The country gives them so much. The freedoms, the ability to do what you want to do. Okay? Disrespecting the flag. Disrespecting people who genuinely love this country. The desire to see you win goes down dramatically to the point where, yeah, we want you to lose because you're not representing America at that point. You're not representing our collective pride. No, you're representing your own selfish bull. And it's nothing personal. Well, in your case, it is. But as I've said before, the Olympics and other international competitions are about the country, and you should wear the uniform with class and dignity, representing the best the country has to offer. And again, if you protest in an empty stadium, are you really making a statement? So, not rooting for you to do bad, but not rooting for you to do well either. And when you look at the overall Olympics ratings for this year, you see where nobody wants to hear this crap anymore. I wonder how much money NBC lost on these Olympics. I would be really interested to see those numbers. Now, one other Rapinoe note. Yet another sign people are sick of her crap. Subway franchisees are now fed up with the TV ads featuring her, and they want them pulled. This spring, she began a stint as a pitchwoman for the fast food giant, following in the distinguished footsteps of Jared Fogle. Remember that guy? $5 foot long for the kiddies. In one spot, Rapinoe, who has been a vocal proponent of equal rights and equal pay for women, which we all know where that led, knocks a burrito out of a guy's hands by kicking a soccer ball at him. I mean, that's just violent. Kicking a ball at a guy because he's eating a burrito? The response has been mixed, according to franchisees. Late last month, on a discussion forum hosted by the North American Association of Subway Franchisees, a Wisconsin store operator posted a picture of a hand-scrawled note from an irate customer taped to the front door of his shop. Now, what did the note say? It said, "Boycott Subway until Subway fires the anti-American Megan Rapinoe, the creep who kneels for our beloved national anthem." That's just great. This ad should be pulled and done with, the franchisee wrote of the Rapinoe spot. It gets tiring apologizing, and it's probably hurting the bottom line. Now, Subway doesn't own any of its nearly 22,000 locations, but it charges franchisees 4.5% of their revenue for a national advertising fund and controls how the money is spent. Now, many store operators, particularly in, those pesky red states, say they're facing a harsh backlash from the parent company's decisions. A Midwest-based franchisee said Subway should have seen this coming before signing Rapinoe, seeing as in July 2019, she took heat for allegedly stomping on the flag. Weeks earlier, she created headlines when she said she wasn't going to visit the effing White House if invited by President Trump. Not going to lie, after seeing a Megan Rapinoe Subway ad, I definitely said to myself, nope, not going there anytime soon. And look, I get it. I know I've been really harsh towards the women's team during these Olympic Games. And I've been really harsh on Rapinoe during this time as well. So let me recognize a bright spot in these Olympic Games and this women's soccer team. Carly Lloyd has probably played her last meaningful game for the women's team. During the bronze medal game, while the rest of her team on the field took a knee, she stood up. After the semifinal loss to Canada, relegating them to the bronze medal game, Lloyd crouched with her head in her hands and then sat on a ball, pondering heartbreak. And what did she do? She then got up and started running back and forth, up and down an empty field, not long after the semifinals match, where she played the final 30 minutes. Now, why did she do that? Because she's all about the grind and putting in the work. Unlike Rapinoe, Lloyd puts in the effort on and off the field. The 39-year-old knows that there are far fewer playing days ahead of her than behind her, and she will forever be known as one of the most intense and relentless players the team has ever seen. If she had been around in the days of Mia Hamm and Brandi Chastain, oh my God, that team would have been unstoppable. So, soccer rant over, and you can count on me not doing that again for a good long while. So let me get to Andrew Cuomo, the dirtbag mob boss ass grabber of New York. Let's pause a moment here to talk about protein bars. Do you like a good snack throughout the day, but you'd rather not pack on the pounds while doing it? Well, hey, I've got great news. Built Bar is here to save the day. They've got so many flavors. There's something for everyone. When you talk to a Built Bar fan, like me, they're passionate about their favorites. They've got amazing flavors like coconut, which is death for me, but hey, maybe it works for you. Mint brownie, which I love. Double chocolate, salted caramel, cookies and cream, which is great, and more. Hey, if you can't pick a flavor right off the bat, you can get a mixed box. What is a mixed box? You'll get 2 of each of their 9 regular flavors. Built Bars have up to 18 grams of protein, and they're 180 calories or less. Only 4 to 5 grams of sugar, and only 4 or 5 net carbs. But you wouldn't know it by tasting them, because they taste amazing. You can take care of your sweet tooth and still be healthy. How about that? And now you can get your Built Bars even faster. How? Check this out. The new URL is built.com. It's no longer builtbar.com. You get to save 3 letters. Think about the time it takes for you to type in BAR. Now you don't have to do it. And for you, the loyal audience of TV's Rob is Unwoke, Built Bar is giving you a discount off your first order. Go to built.com and use the promo code TV's Rob to save 10% off your first order. Use promo code TV's Rob for 10% off at built.com.
He's on woke.
Why did you file that criminal complaint with the sheriff's office?
It was the right thing to do. The governor needs to be held accountable.
And just so I'm clear again, being held accountable to you means seeing the governor charged with a crime.
What he did to me was a crime. He broke the law.
I want you to know directly from me that I never touched anyone inappropriately or made inappropriate sexual advances.
Think about those 11 women and what he put them through, just out of respect for how he wronged them and trying to atone for his sins. He should step aside right now. Just get the hell out of the way.
Are you now calling on him to resign?
Yes, I think he should resign. I am smart. I am New York tough.
I can handle things. I'm smart. Not like everybody says. Like dumb, I'm smart, and I want respect.
So who am I then, Fredo?
He's smart. He's New York tough. Yeah, he really comes across more like Fredo, even though Fredo is his brother. Who am I talking about? Oh, the mob boss, narcissistic ass grabber of New York, Governor Andrew Cuomo, who is in a lot of deep crap right now. He is really in deep. And he may make history soon, but not the kind he wanted. He stands to become the first governor of New York to be impeached in 100 years. And ironically enough, his own party seems to be leading the charge. Now, I'm not going to get into the particulars of the case and the report, the investigation that's going on. You pretty much already know that. If you're listening to this show, I'm sure you already know what's going on. So let's color in some of the other details, shall we? Over the past few days, President Joe Biden, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, New York Reps Hakeem Jeffries and Gregory Meeks, New York State Democratic Committee Chair Jay Jacobs, Eric Adams, the Democratic nominee to become the next mayor of New York City, have all called on Cuomo to resign. That group joined the majority of the state House delegation, along with both Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer and Senator Kirsten Gillibrand, who had previously asked Cuomo to go. Now that's a lot of pressure to get the F out of office. And now the woman who, in the 168-page report detailing all of Cuomo's indiscretions, has come out and made her presence known. Formerly known in the report as Executive Assistant 1, Brittany Camiso has come out and discusses why she filed a complaint against the masked grandma murderer, saying the governor needs to be held accountable. You heard that clip at the beginning of the segment. Now, what about that CBS interviewer? It's almost like she doesn't believe her or something and is trying to run interference for Cuomo. I tell you, these media hacks. No wonder journalism is dying, or at least on life support. Camiso added, "I in no way, shape, or form invited that, nor did I ask for it. I didn't want it. I feel like I was being taken advantage of." And she probably was. Now, of course, we know that the report described the alleged groping as the culmination of a series of offensive interactions that also include Cuomo's alleged touching and grabbing of Camiso's butt during hugs, and on one occasion while taking selfies with him. Although he says he doesn't take selfies. Right, Andrew, you keep telling yourself that. I guess it's like your brother doesn't violate quarantine while suffering from COVID in the Hamptons, right? Now, Cuomo could also face a couple of misdemeanor charges based on her allegations, Albany County Sheriff Craig Apple said during a Saturday news conference. Now, what's interesting to me is the fact that the continual sexual harassment claims are what seems to be dragging Cuomo down. The New York nursing home scandal during the COVID pandemic, where thousands of nursing home patients died because Cuomo ordered COVID-positive patients to be admitted, that doesn't seem to be gaining any traction whatsoever. More than 172,000 residents and employees of nursing homes and long-term care facilities have died of complications from COVID-19 in the United States. That's not just New York, according to a New York Times analysis. So by the time the health department issued its July report, Cuomo had already been under fire for nursing homes for months. The criticism came mostly from, those pesky Republican lawmakers who suggested his administration was directly responsible for the high death toll. The health department report revived questions about how New York was handling and counting such deaths. At the time, the state's tally only included residents who had died inside a nursing home. It excluded those who died at a hospital or other facility. Now, don't forget, this is the same guy who was heralded for his leadership, had the love-ins with Brother Chris on CNN, who called him the best politician in the country.
I'm wowed by what you did, and more importantly, I'm wowed by how you did it. This was very hard. I know it's not over, but obviously, I love you as a brother. Obviously, I'll never be objective. Obviously, I think you're the best politician in the country.
He also made a lot of money on the pandemic. That $5.1 million book deal that came his way. It's no wonder he called the pandemic a, quote, tremendous personal benefit, unquote.
Speaking for myself, it was a tremendous personal benefit.
Yeah, a great personal benefit indeed. $5.1 million. Now, in light of recent controversies, the book publisher has said it will no longer promote the book American Crisis, and that it would not issue a paperback version. Now, Cuomo is still trying to weasel his way out of this. He's making a last-ditch effort to avoid impeachment. Apparently, he has tried to cut a deal with the state legislature, offering to drop his bid for a fourth term in exchange for not getting impeached. But no one seems to be buying what Cuomo is selling. In fact, New York Democratic Party Chairman Jay Jacobs told the New York Post, "It was something that was floated to me by the folks in the Cuomo camp as a possible option before the Attorney General's report came out. I never saw it as a viable option." Wow. I mean, when your own party is not going to let you weasel your way out, you really did screw up. Now, here's what I find interesting. Like I mentioned before, the nursing home stuff. Why has that never gained any traction? Now, I'm guessing, bear with me on this, and tell me what you think. The reason Cuomo is not seeing any type of blowback on the nursing home deaths is because of COVID. If you look at the trends with this COVID pandemic, what's going on here? You can't sue the federal government. You can't sue vaccine manufacturers. So I'm guessing that they're wrapping this up as, well, he didn't know what to do. He was doing the best he could with what he had to work with. So we're giving him a pass because, COVID. But tell me, you kill Granny, you get to stay in office and make millions writing a book about it. But you grab some ass and you're toast. It's almost like the Bill Clinton stuff. just far, far, far worse. How ridiculous is that? And while we're talking about ridiculous behavior from politicians, never mind the pedophile residing in the White House right now.
Pedophile.
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 Hey, pedophile! Come on, man.
Yeah, that guy. If the complaints against Andrew Cuomo can bring him down, why are we still not listening to what Tara Reid had to say about Joe Biden? Why is she being silenced? Why is she not allowed to have her day? And what about all the little girls that Biden has touched over the years? We've all seen it, okay? And there's actually been a complaint from one of the girls saying, yeah, he pinched my nipple. The girl was 8. I thought we looked upon pedophilia in a very negative light, but apparently they're trying to make that normal. How sick can you be nowadays? Seriously, how sick can you be? So while Cuomo is pissing off people all around the country, and especially in New York, there's another New Yorker who is pissing a lot of people off. And that is the self-proclaimed king of all media, the former shock jock. And I call him former for a good reason. Howard Stern is pissing off SiriusXM subscribers. Now, why? Imagine getting a $500 million payday and then bolting for nearly 3 months. Well, Howard Stern has done just that, and he's not due back until next month. That's right, Howard Stern taking the entire summer off 6 months after signing a huge $500 million deal. And what's worse is that you have Andy Cohen reportedly trying to take over for Howard Stern, hosting his show. Are you kidding me? I mean, that is ridiculous. Andy Cohen filling in for Howard Stern. Talk about two things that do not mesh. Now, of course, it's just an audience grab for Andy Cohen. He's thinking, hey, if I get a hold of this audience, if I can bring some of them over to my channel, I can grow my audience. Well, I don't think Howard's audience is going to follow you, Andy. Sorry. But back to Howard Stern. This guy rose from nothing and eventually was the most talked about guy in media. And nothing says success like living up in the Hamptons, right? It appears Stern needs to rest on his enormously wealthy laurels and negotiated a clause in his new deal that would give him a break between the end of June and early September. But SiriusXM subscribers are pissed, saying Stern, who usually spends time at his Hamptons spread during the summer, has to honor their monthly commitment, lest they cancel their subscriptions. And I totally see their point. You're paying a monthly fee for this guy. You are directly paying for his salary. And yet he's going to bolt on you for 3 frickin' months? One fan fumed on Reddit. Howard Stern taking the whole summer off is bullshit. Howard Stern just announced per his new deal, there will not be any new shows until September. At first, he tried to claim they always do this during the summer, then pivoted and said this summer off was part of the new deal he made. Furious fan added, couldn't take just 2 weeks off? No, that would be too fair to his customers. I paid $20 a month for SiriusXM, and I'm not paying $40 for reruns. All Stern fans should do this. If I knew the deal would be like this, I would have rooted for Howard to retire. That is crazy. In December 2020, Stern signed a new deal with SiriusXM to extend his contract for his long-running show for another 5 years. And think about this. The time off he's taking, the guy's going to earn $17 million. How would you like $17 million to sit on your ass in the Hamptons and do nothing? Wow. And honestly, I don't understand what the big deal about Howard Stern is anymore anyways. Now, I've just got to say, as a guy who has worked in broadcasting since the time that Howard Stern was on the air, his show worked best when he had an adversary. When he was going back and forth, butting heads with program directors, management, and in his later years, the FCC. His show worked best when he had that going on because there was always that tension. He would always take it right to the edge and sometimes even over it. And the FCC would snap him back. And there was that constant tug of war. Well, from the day that Howard signed his first SiriusXM deal, the moment he was able to drop the F-bomb on the air, it was over. At that point, what more can you do? Now, I'll give Howard credit. He's figured out ways to keep himself going and reinvent himself and reinvent the show. But really, the show was at its best when he had an adversary. Now there's no adversary. I guess he won?
Yeah, let me see him. Come on. Come on.
Let's see those things. Put them out. There it is.
Whoa,
Nice.
those are nice, honey.
Wait, those are real.
Those are real.
It's a good job.
It's a good job, though. Let me see your ass.
But still, bro, taking that kind of time off really is disrespectful to the people who are directly paying for your salary. I get it. You need time off, but to take an entire summer? I'm with the subscribers here. I'm a subscriber to SiriusXM myself. And yeah, I would feel cheated too. Why don't you stagger that time off? But hey, to each their own. That's why you're the $500 million man and I work 3 jobs. Just saying. Well, my wife, Nikki, comes along and she's got a lot of things to say, and we'll get right to that.
In a world where up is now down and left is now right,
Human sacrifice, dogs and cats living together.
the world is on fire and we are all doomed.
We're doomed. Doomed! I told you!
We're doomed!
Doomed.
We're doomed.
Our universe is doomed.
Relax. Take a break from the insanity and laugh.
It unites humanity in a way that no one ever thought possible.
It's reality on call waiting. Blast off.
I haven't even been working maybe, 2 hours, and my brain's about to explode. I swear to God, it's propaganda. It's all it is. Every single story about COVID, they're all saying everyone that's spreading it is younger and virtually all unvaccinated. People need to get vaccinated. And they keep having these doctors come out who say, those who are severely ill now wish they had gotten the vaccine. What the fuck is that? Who the hell came up with that? Because for one, I thought, one person saying it is a cold-hearted son of a bitch. 2 people, yeah, okay, maybe. 2 cold-hearted son of a bitches. But if it's pretty much the same thing by several doctors, yeah, this is a narrative that's being concocted by someone. So that's even more frightening. And I'm not an Alex Jones type of person, but seriously, you've got to worry and wonder what the fuck is going on with this. Like I said yesterday, the FDA is racing to get the Pfizer vaccine approved by Labor Day. They have said that that is their main focus. Since fucking when does the FDA do that? Never. I mean, how long did it take them for them to approve this, risky Alzheimer medicine? I'm sure it's screwed up, but for Christ's sake, they were supposed to spend at least 15 months. You cannot tell me they have been spending 15 months. You have people that are going to argue, well, they've been, they've been researching it a long time. Really? In my opinion, to force through a vaccine that, number one, you're starting to see side effects, but you just kind of brush off, for the greater good of others. And the FDA doesn't have a very good track record when it comes to approving medications. I can remember them approving many birth controls. Let's see, Yaz, the patch, several. I think there were like 3 or 4 that I was on within a 5-year span, recalled. Something to do with they caused cancer or some shit. Well, they just removed Chantix, which is, of course, made by Pfizer. I took Chantix once. I seriously had to get off of it because I was so suicidal. I've never felt like that before in my life. Honestly, smoke. Just smoke. That drug is just dangerous. So, I mean, it's not shocking that they pulled it off the market. It's just taken them, I don't know how many years. I'd have to look it up. I mean, 5 to 10, maybe 15 years before they actually, no, it's got to be like 15 years for them to come out and say, oops, it causes cancer. My bad. See, but you can sue Pfizer over that. You cannot sue Pfizer, Moderna, AstraZeneca, Johnson & Johnson over these COVID vaccines. They were rushed to market. Any kind of side effect is just brushed off. You know, I could look past that somewhat because people are stupid and, you know, they're just going to want to be safe. Just, oh God, I've got to be safe. I've got to take this. The government says, ooh, you know, idiots. I was fine with that. You know, live as you want to live. If you're going to be an idiot, that's fine. They'll all be the zombies that are walking around after the side effects kick in. But when you're doing this on children, I mean, I think they're even wanting to do it into newborns up to 18. I know they have 12 through 18 already approved, but when you start going below that for a vaccine you know nothing about, you have, I mean, they've even stated that at this time, they do not have any concrete long-term side effects. Jesus Christ, turn on a TV. You'll have, I don't know, Cialis. You'll have some freaking ass drug, and they'll be like, oh, take this. This will help you. If you can't sleep or your dick can't get hard, talk to your doctor about blah, blah, blah.
Humira patients, this one's for you. You inspired us to make your Humira experience even better with Humira Citrate Free. It has the same effectiveness you know and trust, but we remove the citrate buffers. There's less liquid and a thinner needle with less pain immediately following injection. Ask your doctor about Humira Citrate Free, and you can use your copay card to pay as little as $5 a month.
Humira can lower your ability to fight infections. Serious and sometimes fatal infections, including tuberculosis and cancers, including lymphoma, have happened, as have blood, liver, and nervous system problems, serious allergic reactions, and new or worsening heart failure. Tell your doctor if you've been to areas where certain fungal infections are common, and if you've had TB, hepatitis B, are prone to infections, or have flu-like symptoms or sores. Don't start Humira if you have an infection.
Ask your doctor about Humira Citrate Free, the same Humira you trust with less pain immediately following injection.
If you can't afford your medicine, AbbVie may be able to help.
And that's for an FDA-approved drug. I mean, I love how you listen to the very end disclaimer. Basically, it ends up, the side effects are worse than the actual condition itself. There's one drug where basically you're trying to clear up some skin condition, but it can end up causing you to die or causing your kidneys to shut down. You're like, let's see, do I want to have funky skin or do I want to have kidney or liver failure? Let me flip a coin on that one. Just imagine them making a Pfizer, I don't even know what they're going to name it. I don't even know if it has a name, but they just call it Pfizer COVID vaccine. They'll come up with something stupid, I'm sure. But, I mean, I can't wait to hear that. Or we may never hear that because the ambulance chasers and such aren't going to be able to go after the pharmaceutical company. So you're not going to be seeing Jay Sokolov, who will be able to fight your case. Did you use Johnson & Johnson? Did you end up getting cancer? Did you die? Call us right now, and we will fight for you. Yep. The only way you're going to actually get a vaccine in my arm is to break down my door and hold me down like Arnold Schwarzenegger in Total Recall and shoot it in me that way. Because I will bite, kick, and scream. I'm not taking that shit. I'm not. There's something about it that just doesn't add up. Honestly, I think the way that it's being pushed is absolutely irresponsible. And I don't like to use this term very often, but evil. It's downright evil. I mean, we don't know what it's going to do. Okay, fine. You're an adult. You made the decision, even though more and more it's not really a decision anymore. It's more like, will you keep your job or, can you go eat? I mean, I'm sorry, I hate to say this, and probably going to get a lot of eyebrow raises, but, in the Bible, it does talk about the mark of the beast. You will not be able to buy or sell or trade unless you have the mark. A lot of people are thinking that this is it. I don't know if it is or not. I have no idea, but it definitely sounds like it, and this is evil. And why do I find it evil? I find it evil that they're subjecting children to this who do not have the ability to refuse. I actually am absolutely astounded by parents that put their children through these trials. I cannot have a child. It breaks my heart. My husband and I have tried so hard. I will never experience that. And it's something that will haunt me for the rest of my life. And seeing parents do this to their children, there's no words for it. There's just no words. And back to my rant, the reason why I'm going off about this is because I'm having to do a market in Florida. And this is the story. Health officials are continuing to urge people to get the vaccine ASAP. Lakeland Regional Health's Dr. Hal Eskowitz says that the most patients that he's seen are younger, and virtually all are unvaccinated.
If you don't know anyone who's been affected by this right now, you will soon. Of our 22 patients in the ICU right now, half of them are under 50, and all of them are on ventilators currently.
Dr. Eskowitz says some of those who are severely ill now wish they had gotten the vaccine. All right, and just on what that doctor said, okay, half of those that are in ICU, which was a low number, half of them are under 50. They're not giving you an age. Okay, what do you consider younger? 40? I mean, the narrative and the way that they're spending all of this, I mean, it's unbelievable, and it's frightening. It is absolutely frightening. I mean, especially with the doctor saying, now they wish they had gotten the vaccine. I'm sorry, but these doctors should be held accountable. I think that every damn one of them that come out and say this shit should be sued. Because if you can't sue the pharmaceutical companies, you sure as hell can't sue the federal government, though I really think you would. I wish you could. I'm sure there's some lawyer that could figure that out, and that would be awesome. That'd be a great Law and Order episode. But yeah, I think every damn one of these doctors that comes out and says this shit should be held accountable and should be prosecuted, because not only is this propaganda, they're influencing those who are very, very vulnerable and impressionable. It's fear propaganda 24/7. And here's the thing. You've really got to pay attention to the numbers that they say. They aren't giving out complete numbers. Most of the dashboards that we used to see when all this shit started, it's gone. So, but even back then, I've talked to nurses and they've said the numbers were inflated. They would call somebody that died with a heart attack COVID, somebody that died in a car accident COVID. Hell, Larry King, who was older than fuck, died of COVID. No, it's called old age. So within the last couple of years, barely any cancer deaths, heart failure deaths, flu deaths, they just vanished. No one died from old age. All of this is inflated. And to really bring this home, the more I hear someone like Dr. Fauci, Dr. Walensky from the CDC, any doctor say, oh, well, yeah, we're expecting within the next couple of weeks to see a huge surge, especially by mid-September. How the fuck do they know that? They don't know that. I mean, think about it. These geniuses can't even get flu shots correctly. You'll go get your annual flu shot and, oh, damn it, it's the wrong strain. Damn. See, that is what is driving me nuts. This is all the Delta variant. How the fuck do you know? It is not easy to tell what variant is actually spreading in the community. And it's just, again, it's just propaganda. You know, the latest thing that's going to scare the hell out of you and line up and be like, jab me, not just once, you just keep jabbing me so I won't ever get this bad virus. Please. Look, if I get COVID, it's my fault. I'm not going to be, oh, give me the vaccine. I'll be like, oh, well, shit. The irony of it. Fuck my life. It's absolutely insane. Flu is actually far more deadly than COVID, but I don't see everybody being forced to take a fucking flu shot. At least those have been around for a while. I mean, again, 15 months is usually what it would take to get... Actually, the disturbing thing is if you go and look on the internet, most of it has been changed and scrubbed. You look up how long it takes for a vaccine to be approved. Look up how long it takes for the FDA to investigate it, to approve it. How long does it take to actually pass the trials to even go to the FDA? All that information has been changed. You type it in there and everything has to do with COVID. It's changed. Go in your browser and actually change your search dynamics from, let's start back in 2011 and go to 2019. You will be very surprised whenever you Google it. And it's not because they just suddenly realized that it just all dawned on them that it's this way. No. This is something that's being pushed. They're changing the rules. They've changed the definition of words. They've changed the definition of herd immunity. They've completely disregarded the fact that it takes years to bring a vaccine to market. When they first approved, I remember I was doing an iNews shift. I remember right the date before that they were approving the Pfizer vaccine, all the narrative, everything that they were saying was, this is the first time in history that a vaccine has been approved so fast. Okay. All right, see? Faster ain't better. Especially when it's something being put in your body. Again, it's an mRNA. Look at the actual statistics. None of the trials have succeeded. None. And that's in animals. Moderna has yet to get anything passed by the FDA. So that's frightening. Johnson & Johnson, hell, I mean, they gave people ovarian cancer with their talcum powder. And, what was it recently? In their suntan lotion, there are some sort of ingredient that's causing cancer. Yeah, they're really trusted, let me tell you. AstraZeneca, my God, if they aren't even allowing that drug here in the country, holy shit. I can't even imagine that. And those two, the Johnson & Johnson and the AstraZeneca, are made in the same factory. Oh my God. It's awful. It is starting to get to me. I feel like I'm a propagandist. I feel like I am Joseph Goebbels. I am a propagandist. I'm not, but I sure as hell feel like one. And in case any of you are out there wondering, what the hell is she talking about doing a news shift? I'm a radio news anchor. I do it from home, so I have the pleasure of looking at news all day long. Believe me, I hate it. I used to be a P1, which is like a big deal, talk radio listener. I can't listen to it. I can't. It's too much. It's just too much. You gotta unplug, and I really can't unplug from it. I mean, I'm looking right now at some of the garbage that's going on. Oh, but here's some good news. 2 Texas Democrats that ran away to Washington, D.C. Texas Congressman Al Green and State Representative Ron Reynolds were arrested by Capitol Police outside of the Supreme Court for protesting the voter law legislation bills currently pending in the Texas legislature. The Texas Democratic Party commended the two lawmakers, saying they proudly stand with them for being unapologetic voices for our rights during this movement. Everything with the Democrats is grandiose. It's all a big movement. They're for the people. That is the complete opposite. They are not for you. They're for government. Read a book. Look at what communism is like. Look at what socialism, which turns into communism. Do you really want to live that way? Because you know what? We'll all be equal. You're damn right we'll be equal. Equally miserable. We will have nothing. Only what they think that we can have. I mean, my God, listen to Bernie Sanders. I have like 18 different deodorants. You don't need 18 different deodorants. Fuck you. Maybe I want, some choice, some variety. Who the hell are you to tell me that I can't have a choice from 18 different deodorants? Sanders has been around for a long, long time. He's one of those, he's there, he kind of pipes up every now, the socialism, the government, you need to give it to the government. He is just absolutely tickled to death that he's even relevant. The guy's never been relevant because up until now, socialism wasn't even considered. It was still a blemish. It was still kind of the scarlet letter. Now people are like, socialism is where the species. I mean, the absurdity of it all. And the arrogance. The arrogance of people that want socialism. Oh, you try to point out Venezuela. Well, we didn't do it right. Point out Cuba. Well, they didn't do it right. Look at Russia. Well, they didn't do it right. We can figure out how to do it the right way. Okay. You know what? Socialism will never work. Utopianism, it doesn't exist. And it shouldn't. It shouldn't exist because human beings are not conditioned to be equal. We're not. I mean, not everybody can be an Olympic athlete. Not everybody can be musically gifted. Not everybody can draw. Socialism goes against human nature. It's a fact. We're all different. Whether you like it or not, I'm sorry. A man can do certain shit a woman can't do. Socialism, communism goes against human nature. Let me just sum it up for you. We are born and we are selfish. You can lie all you want and pretend to be so giving. Bullshit. It's survival of the fittest most of the time. It's just human nature. We're not all the same. Not everyone has the drive to be certain things. It takes a certain person to become an entrepreneur or to create something. Our actual chemical makeup, our brain, the way it functions, it's not the same. Some people are left-brained. Some people are right-brained. Donnie and Marie, a little bit of country, a little bit of rock and roll. It's just a cold, hard fact. And every time that they've tried socialism, it falls and turns into communism. People that weren't alive back during the Cold War, God, I feel old as hell, they don't understand. They didn't see the East and West Germany. And now, I don't even think any of it's left. Because used to, when you visited East and West Germany, you looked on one side, damn, it looked like it sucked. Plain gray buildings, all the same. Looked like hell. Other side, nice. Very nice. See, you're not allowed to have nice things. The people in the government can. Oh yeah, they can. But not you. not you.
Man, she really let it out, didn't she? Woo! Hot opinions from the news anchor extraordinaire, my wife, Nikki. Maybe one day I'll actually get her to record an episode with me rather than her recording something for me to just put in with it. But seriously, if y'all can provide her with some feedback, let her know what you think about what she had to say. She would greatly appreciate it. You could follow her on Twitter at DFW Radio Girly. That is girly spelled Girlie. And for the rest of yous, if you want to get in on the action and make your mark on the show, go to anchor.fm/TV's Rob is Unwoke and leave a voice message. I'll play a selection of those in future episodes. Also, if you want to come on the show like Tyler did and like Nikki will at some point and some others have as well, and you want to talk about something that's on your mind, send me a message on Twitter at TV's Rob Official. We'll discuss whatever is on your mind. Again, special thanks to my wife and producer, Nikki. You can follow her on Twitter, again, at DFW Radio Girly. You should really follow her and hit her up. Talk to her. You'll like her, I promise. Also, you can follow Ryoga, the derpy cat, the executive producer of TV's Rob is Unwoke, at Cat Ryoga on Twitter. Don't ask me why he's got a Twitter. He does. He seems to like it. I don't know. Anyways, that's going to do it for me. I am TV's Rob. This is TV's Rob is Unwoke, and we'll talk to you next time.